The top crime case in Indonesia this year is premeditated murder of Police Brigadier Yosua Hutabarat, in which the prime suspect is Ferdy Sambo, former head of the National Police Profession and Internal Security Division, a two-star police general that leads also to the first massive obstruction of justice case of the country, where dozens of police officials from mid to high rank were declared as suspects related with the murder case. MGN's Telly Natalia has the story.
This is then Inspector General Ferdy Sambo, head of the Indonesian National Police Profession and Internal Security Division, who is now the prime suspect in a murder case of one of his adjutants, Police Brigadier Yosua Hutabarat, popular as Yosua, on July 8, 2022 in Jakarta, at one of Sambo's houses at a police residential complex in South Jakarta. At the beginning, public was not aware about the case until a journalist from Jambi, where Yosua came from, brought up the case in his publication based on Yosua's parents' social media status. Police then made a statement saying that Yosua was killed during an exchange of fire with his fellow adjutant, Richard Eliezer. However, the chronology of the killing was weird to public's ears. Then Yosua's family hired several lawyers whom spoke up about their suspicions that Yosua was murdered due to bruises and wounded in his body and odd facts according to police chronology. It gained public support and led to President Joko Widodo's order to the National Police Chief, General Listio Sigit Prabowo, to transparently investigate the case.
Ya, sejak awal kan saya sampaikan, usut tuntas. Jangan ragu-ragu, jangan ada yang ditutup-tutupi, ungkap kebenaran apa adanya, sehingga jangan sampai menurunkan kepercayaan masyarakat terhadap Polri. Itu yang paling penting. Citra Polri apapun tetap harus kita jaga. Ya.
After a series of investigations that were directly monitored by Indonesian Chief Security Minister Mahfud MD, investigators found that Yosua's death not because of an exchange of fire, but he was murdered, suspected by the order of Ferdy Sambo. Then Sambo and four others, his wife Putri Chandrawati, other adjutants Richard Eliezer and Ricky Rizal, and Sambo's family aide Kuat Ma'ruf were declared as suspects in a premeditated murder of Yosua Hutabarat. Sambo continued denying his involvement in the murder case, but admitted that Yosua had sexually harassed his wife Putri Chandrawati. From crime scene investigation, investigators found that the scene was clean and various evidences were destroyed by intention. These findings dragged other police officers to face disciplinary investigations along with Sambo. In the meantime, Sambo and other police officers involved in obstruction of justice, and they must face police internal investigations and ethical disciplinary trials. Later, Sambo was fired from police on September 20th. From further investigations and from cross-examinations, state prosecutors alleged Sambo planned the murder of Yosua, and by using his authority at the time, he had ordered his subordinate, Richard Eliezer, to shoot Yosua.
Bis beliau jatuh, almarhum jatuh, Efes ini langsung maju, Yang Mulia. Saya lihat dia langsung pegang senjata. Dia pegang senjata dulu, dia ke arah almarhum, dia ada sempat tembak, Yang Mulia, ke arah almarhum.
Not only ordered Eliezer to kill Yosua, Sambo, with his authority, also had ordered other police officials to fabricate chronology of the event and clean up the crime scene, as well as to destroy evidences, including CCTV footages. Ferdy Sambo is facing 2 cases, premeditated murder and obstruction of justice, that are still ongoing at the South Jakarta District Court. Sambo's wife, Putri Chandrawati, along with Richard Eliezer, Ricky Rizal, and Kuat Ma'ruf, are also tried separately for the murder case of Yosua Hutabarat. Richard Eliezer, as a justice collaborator in the murder case, stated that Sambo also shot Yosua that caused his death. Their trials began on October 19th and are still ongoing at the South Jakarta District Court. According to Indonesia's criminal code, maximum penalty for a premeditated case is death sentence. The public is waiting to the results of the case. That is also a challenge for Indonesia's law enforcement. In the murder case of Police Brigadier Yosua Hutabarat, one of the suspects, Richard Eliezer, was granted protection by the Indonesian Witnesses and Victims Protection Agency, LPSK, as a justice collaborator. While proposal to become justice collaborators applied by Putri Chandrawati, the wife of Ferdy Sambo, and Ricky Rizal, another Sambo's adjutant, were refused by the agency. Richard is one of Ferdy Sambo's adjutants, and according to Richard's testimony, he was ordered by Sambo to shoot his fellow adjutant Yosua Hutabarat. At the beginning, Richard made a false testimony based on a scenario that Sambo had made, but later decided to tell the truth and apply to become a justice collaborator and granted.
Mulai 2 hari yang lalu, LPSK sudah menetapkan bahwa permohonan baik dimulai oleh pengacaranya maupun setelah kemudian tim LPSK bertemu dengan Baradae ini di tahanan Bareskrim. Kemudian kami berkeyakinan bahwa yang bersangkutan memang berdasarkan penyataannya bersedia untuk menjadi justice kolaborator. Dan pada saat itu juga kemudian kami lakukan assessment, di samping kita bandingkan juga dengan assessment sebelumnya yang sudah kita lakukan, kemudian kami sampai pada keyakinan bahwa Baradae memang memenuhi syarat sebagai seorang justice kolaborator.
Since Richard was declared as a justice collaborator in the murder case, he has been granted special protection by LPSK and started exposing scenario that Sambo had prepared for many. From that, dozens of police were exposed for their participation in the scenario, led to another case, obstruction of justice, in which they were destroying evidences and cleaning up the crime scene, as well as fabricating 2 cases against late Yosua Hutabarat, sexual harassments against Sambo's wife Putri Chandrawati, and a murder trial against Richard Eliezer that were reported to the South Jakarta Police before they were revoked by the National Police Headquarters. The 24-year-old Richard Eliezer has the lowest rank in the Indonesian police system. Richard admitted that he had shot his senior Yosua Hutabarat based on an order from Ferdy Sambo, former 2-star General Police, at Sambo's residence in South Jakarta. He said he could not reject Sambo's order at the time, but when he was told about the murder plan by Sambo, he prayed, hoping for a miracle to save Yosua from murder.